Hello students, this is Mrs. Rupper, and today we're going to be going over justifying equations. So in the beginning we're going to have the equation solved, and you're going to say which property is used to justify each time we do an operation. And then towards the end you'll be having to solve it and justify each step that you will be taking to solve the equation. So again, this is page 8, 1.3, justifying equations. We also have all of the list of our properties up here at the top to make it easier for you. Okay, so here is number 1 on page 8, where we start with our equation 40 equals 15x plus 10. Our justification for the first step, it's minus 10 on this side and minus 10 on that side. So we would be using the subtraction property of equality. Okay, so we subtracted the same number from both sides. Next thing we do is we substituted, because we went 40 minus 10 is 30, and 10 plus 10 is 0, or 10 minus 10 is 0, so we did that. So we actually used the substitution property. Because we substituted 30 for 40 minus 10. Next, you see we simplify. That's another word for simplified. And then we divide it by 15 on both sides, so that's the division property of equality. Okay, and then we simplified again. So when we simplify, that's kind of another way to say we substituted. Okay, so for 30 divided by 15, we substituted that for 2. So substitution. And then 2 equals x is the same as x equals 2. So then we would be using the symmetric property. And you would be finished. Okay, so that would be number 1 on 1.3 for page 8. Next, as in math, as it always does, it's going to get a little bit harder. So we go on to page 9. So now we're given this, I've decided to do number 6, a little more challenging. And I'm going to solve it and justify each step, because before we did the solving and you had to do the justification, and now we're forcing you to do both. So the first thing we want to do is we see this parentheses, and we have to take care of parentheses. So we're going to go 6 times 2 and 6 times v. So I'm going to write negative 3 minus 6v equals 12 minus 6v minus 15. And that's using the distributive property. Okay, next we want to get this and this together. So we get negative 3 minus 6v equals 12 minus 15. I'm going to go ahead and list this minus 6v first. So negative 6v, and then negative 15 plus 12. When there's no sign in front, it's positive. So it'll be minus 3. And so we're combining things together. So again, that's kind of simplification, but known as substitution. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and get the variables to the same side. So I'm going to add 6v, add 6v. And I forgot to put my line down here where I like to always put it down my equal sign. And I like it to go that way to keep things organized. This goes away and that goes away. I bring down my minus 3 and a minus 3. So I added 6v to both sides. So that's the addition property of equality. Okay, so then we have -3 equals -3. So do we remember what happens when the variable drops out? We look at this statement and we say, is that a true statement? Yes, it's true. So we don't have one solution. It's either going to be no solution or infinitely many. Since it's true right here, and that's kind of a symmetric property because you're kind of saying you're equal to the same thing. So and I would probably accept the reflexive property as well. So yes, if it's true, you have infinitely many solutions. And so there you have it. Okay, good luck on finishing the rest of the problems on page 8 and 9 in your homework.